Yo, what's up, fellow Genshin F2Ps and Swipeys? It's your boy Josh, and we're back with another episode of the Daily Dose of Genshin. I am coming off of like a 4 to 5 hour editing session, and I have to record more for you guys, in particular with this podcast. And I did want to start the conversation off with the rerun banners. I know a lot of people have been asking about the 3.0 rerun banners in particular, and I want to address those characters for you guys and discuss whether they are still worth the pull, or should we be looking towards the future and the newer characters of Genshin 3.0. I most likely will be making a shorter, more condensed breakdown of it, but as per the podcast, I did want to, just kind of walk you guys through my, my lines of reasoning as to why I think Zhongli or Ganyu are, and also Kokomi, are valuable / invaluable heading into the 3.0 patches. So let's get it started. Let's start to talk about the first character that is actually rerunning right now, and that is Zhongli. So Zhongli, of course, the CEO of Geo, he stands the test of time. Realistically, most Geo characters, again, beat to the heart of their own drum in terms of Geo only interacts with Geo anyways. So realistically, with the introductions of the dendro element polymorphic reactions, it doesn't necessarily hinder the effectiveness of the Geo characters or the Geo line. When it comes to Zhongli, he pretty much maintains his place on the top of the pedestal as one of, if not the best characters in the game. His utility is just insanely useful. It breaks the game how strong his shields are and his ability to shred opponents' resistances. His ultimate can hit quite hard if you build properly, or if you're just going into the shield bot route, he is just that much more effective in the defensive role. When it comes to Zhongli, as compared to the banner right now, I actually think Zhongli is more of a valued pick for most players. If you guys are free to play, especially, I would be looking towards Zhongli in particular. If you guys are spenders / whales, you guys are spending your money on both of the characters anyways. However, with Zhongli in particular, especially at Constellation 1 and Constellation 2, it just gives you an amazing amount of benefit. DPS wise, shred wise, consistency wise, and then also gives you that co-opability, being able to shield others while you use your ultimate. So Zhongli, an incredible character. And let's not even mention C6. C6 is the most broken constellation in the game. It shouldn't even exist. It's absolutely gross. Absolutely gross that his shield can heal. I don't know. I don't know why they do it. But again, Zhongli, an incredible character. Make sure you guys pick him up, as these banners in particular are few and far between, especially the higher lighted characters. Zhongli, to some extent even Raiden Shogun, and to another character who we're actually going to talk about next is Kokomi. Now, I don't have Kokomi, and I'm going to be the first to admit that is a really dumb move, especially since Kokomi has also been on an extra rerun. So, let's take a look at Barbara. Where's Barbara? Let's take a look at Barbara well, instead of Kokomi for right now. Kokomi, guys, is an incredible character. Boasts probably some of the best healing in the game. Is super consistent. Provides a lot of utility, and in terms of providing provides one of, if not the best things for your team, consistent hydro application. Now, this is a concept that I've been trying to preach for quite some time now. And of course, it's gone, maybe a little bit unsaid. However, hydro is one of, if not the most powerful elements in the game because it allows for the best reactions in the game. And that is pretty much the same going forward into 3.0. However, with another video that just came out earlier, me talking about the bloom reaction chains are going to look a little bit different if you are to include dendro elements. Of course, if you guys do not have dendro on your team, it's going to work the same way. However, with dendro and bloom, your reaction chains and your rotations are going to have to look a little bit different. But other than that, still hydro is one of, if not the centerpieces to many, many teams. And talking about many teams, more of the meta teams. In particular, your vaporizes, your freezes, taser comps, etc., etc. And now your blooms. So when it comes to characters like Kokomi, who are able to consistently, again, apply hydro even when not on the field, it's just an amazing plus for your team overall, as you're able to rotate into your other characters and have them deal more damage. That's just how the math works. So Kokomi, in my mind, one of the top by 5 characters, if not top 3 characters in the game, just for consistency, her utility, her healing is great. It's what she does now is so incredible. And not only is she already a good unit, you guys didn't hear, Hydro Resonance is getting a buff. Yes, Hydro Resonance is getting, instead of the healing bonus, it's getting an HP percentage up by 25%. That means not only her, but characters like Yelan, Shinshou healing, Barbara healing, and I assume Nilo might also have something to do with HP as well. That's obviously speculation. But she will most likely be getting a nice bump up in effectiveness when she releases. So Hydro in itself is now just even more relevant than ever. And I don't know why Hydro needed this buff. They were already incredibly strong characters to begin with, and now there's just no reason not to have Hydro in your teams. Lastly, let's talk about Ganyu, who is the last rerun character of 3.0. Now, when I posted the video on Bloom, I actually used Ganyu as a finisher to a reverse melt reaction when it came to applying Bloom into, Burgeon, and then from there you would apply Melt. The rotation for that, as I've been able to practice a little bit more, is pretty inconsistent, as you have to be able to quick swap into the character and then be able to fire and then switch back to be able to reapply said reactions. It's a little bit too fast for Genshin, which is a relatively slow game. And you guys might be wondering, Josh, what are you talking about fast and slow? So if you guys have heard of internal cooldowns, and also the fact that there's a cooldown when switching characters, as you can see right there, there sometimes is a misalignment between the timing of your rotations and the certain reactions that you want to incite. Obviously, you can always practice, but no one really practices team rotations unless you're trying to, be a competitive Spiral Abyss speedrunner, or etc., etc. So for the layman, when it comes to reactions, sometimes we aren't able to fully 100% control each reaction that we create. This becomes a problem if we're trying to run rainbow teams, especially those that involve the cryo elements and dendro elements as the starter to polymorphic reactions. As you guys can see here, Kale, let's go down the line. Kale introduces dendro, Barbara hits the opponent to incite bloom, Bennett, let's say, or Shangling or whoever creates the burgeon off of the seedling, and then from there Ganyu is able to reverse melt there. The problem lies with having to come back around and Kale, Barbara, Bennett, Ganyu, Kale, Barbara, Bennett, Ganyu. And not all the time are we going to be able to have every person's abilities up, especially for characters who necessarily rely on their ultimates, like Kale does. Of course, you can always orient your compositions based on that fact. You can always base your compositions off of characters who thrive with low E skill cooldowns, or that again. This is all sort of like just speculation thus far. I don't necessarily have an answer to this, nor do I have any definitive, team composition or idea in mind that says, oh, this is how you should be running rainbow comps, or this is how you should be trying to include cryo into your dendro compositions. However, I'm here to say that there is still usage for cryo that also involves dendro. Weird to say, as polymorphic reactions don't include cryo, but cryo can always be included after the fact that the polymorphic reaction finishes, whatever your lingering elemental residue is, whether, let's say burgeon, you inflict burgeon, then pyro is left on the enemy and then you melt off of that, or you can vaporize off of it, etc., etc. Ganyu being a hyper carry, and I realized this whole time I was barely even talking about Ganyu in the first place, but Ganyu being a cryo hyper carry isn't how I see her necessarily fitting into these particular roles. I see her more fitting in as a sub DPS, a character who's able to maintain her ultimate 100% of the time. This character has no character, I believe, can say they boast 100% uptime on their ultimate. Maybe 100% uptime on E skill, but not 100% uptime on ultimate, and especially not as effective of an ability as Ganyu's. Such wide AoE, pretty okay damage, it still does quite a bit. And again, what we like to, boast a lot here, consistent elemental application. Very much like Hydro, again, able to apply cryo super consistently, which of course doesn't necessarily lend itself to the dendro polymorphic reactions, but is able to still be relevant with the other elements involved, i.e. freeze, melt. I personally would say that Ganyu has fallen off a little bit. That's understandable. So if you guys aren't necessarily looking for a cryo DPS, but are looking for just a DPS, she's still pretty decent. And let's say you picked up the Tignari weapon and you don't have Tignari for some odd reason, I don't know. Then this weapon, the Hunter's Path, will actually do quite well for Ganyu. Especially on one of her hyper carry styled builds, i.e. the Wanderers. So, in conclusion, Zhongli, basically a must pull if you guys haven't already pulled for the character. Kokomi, another amazing pull, but if you are looking towards characters like Nilo, that's okay too. Possibly characters such as people say it's Candace, but I'm pretty sure it's Kandake. As one of the first Hydro polearm characters, looking quite promising there. So Kokomi does have a bit of competition when it comes to her banner. And then Ganyu, again, DPSs are a dime a dozen. Very hard to justify, at least now heading into 3.0, that Ganyu is necessary. It's very hard to justify that, but again, you guys are lacking in the DPS department and lacking in the cryo DPS department because, again, still, what I like to preach is that you have a DPS and you have a support in every elemental type. And once you have those, you really don't need anything else. So for Ganyu, she's an A. Still is a great pickup. And yeah, those are my thoughts on the 3 rerun characters for Genshin 3.0. If you guys would like to see another video, or if you guys would like me to, discuss a different topic or answer one of your guys' questions, please let me know in the comments down below. I'll try to do so with the series. That's what the series is, really. It's just to help you guys answer questions, kind of just slow down some stuff, and kind of just chill out with you guys as we just talk shop about Genshin. So, again, hopefully everybody is enjoying the Genshin 3.0 update. As you guys can see, we're in academia right now, and this place is just one of my favorite places to just fly around and walk around and hang out. It just is incredibly beautiful. So you guys will see me here a lot if I'm just walking around, talking, just chatting, etc. That being said, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. This is our time, baby. I think we can do it. Catch you guys on the next Daily Dose of Genshin. Josh out.